Political collateral an incoming government ought to enjoy for 12 months had suddenly evaporated.
Well, I have a message for the Liberal and Labor. There is a new girl on the block.
The disaffected found a new voice, one that spoke directly to them.
And she intends to give them hell.
If there is any one single factor that triggered support for Pauline Hansen, it was the guns debate. Those people went over to One Nation, appalled that they had been betrayed by the Liberal and National parties.
She was able to parley gun ownership back into this anti-Canberra, anti-elite, anti-special welfare campaign that she was on.
This suggestion that without guns we wouldn't have got Pauline Hansen is not something that I accept for a moment.
I call the honourable member for Oxley.
Thank you, Mr Acting Speaker. In making my first speech...
When Pauline Hansen first spoke in the House of Representatives, guns were not her target. Others were in her sights.
I believe we are in danger of being swamped by Asians. Of course I will be called racist, but if I can invite who I want into my home, then I should have the right to have a say in who comes into my country.
Now, you've got to remember that Hansen had been sacked by us as a candidate. So when I heard these comments, I thought to myself, well, that's why she was sacked.
Wake up, Australia, before it's too late.
It was just a diatribe of bitterness and hatred and factually incorrect statements that I knew were ones that had to be countered and countered very quickly.
But John Howard remained silent.
My view, however, was that a full frontal attack from the Prime Minister only elevated it.
"12 days after Pauline Hansen gave her maiden speech, the Prime Minister made a speech of his own to the Queensland Liberal Party.
One of the great changes that has come over Australia in the last 6 months is that people do feel able to speak a little more freely and a little more openly about what they feel. In a sense, the pall of censorship on certain issues has been lifted.
Those already suspicious of John Howard's views on race believed he'd given Pauline Hansen the prime ministerial stamp of approval.
In Queensland, to talk about lifting the pall of censorship when Hansen was the person that was actually on fire, in my view, was to give the wrong speech in the wrong place at the wrong time, and it showed an ambivalence that he always had in relation to the views of Pauline Hansen.
And I did make some remarks about a pall of censorship being lifted. And those remarks were not designed to give a green light to Pauline Hansen or indeed anybody else, but they were a statement of what I believed.
Prime Minister, and I might add the Treasurer, throughout all of that stood steadfast in the view that if you ignored her, she would lose oxygen and ultimately wither.
Sure, ignore her if that's going to put out the flame, but after the flames burned brightly, you've got to actually take the issue on.